Hi everyone, today I'll be reacting to earliest legendary Pokemon in every game by M&J TV. I'm excited to see this one just because I saw like Jirachi in the thumbnail and I feel like I watched a Small Ant video recently. Watched on my own time. I don't think, yeah, I don't think I'll be reacting to it because I watched it on my own time. But yeah, I think it was Small Ant's video where it might have been the challenge where he was trying to go through the game without leveling up once. And I believe in that one, you could get a Jirachi pretty early on. I think it was Pokemon Coliseum. I could be misremembering the game exactly, but I remember he tried to get a Jirachi for that game, but couldn't because you need the Pokedex first. So yeah, I do know the one in the thumbnail. Wait, show the thumbnail. Okay, anyways. I'm gonna go to the react corner now. I'm excited to watch this. I'll start the video now, okay? Also, hi, I'm Maple! I like Pokemon! I like Pokemon, that is all.
When you think of the first legendary you get in a Pokemon playthrough, you likely think of the box art legend at the climax of the villain plotline. But for a lot of games, you can actually get a legendary much sooner. Some of them when you only have around half of the badges. These are the earliest obtainable legendary Pokemon you can get in every game today. Meaning no limited time events. For Red, Blue, and Yellow, the earliest legendary is Zapdos, which you can get with as little as 3 gym badges.
Okay, Zapdos I do know about since I play a lot of Gen 3. Zapdos is just chilling in the power plant, and you can easily get there off of, I believe, Route 10. You just need Surf. That's all you need. You just need Surf. There's a nice couple of items in there, and Zapdos is just chilling. The neat part is that I learned later is that if you run away and just re-enter the power plant like after a certain amount of time, I think Zapdos does come back. That's what I remember. But yeah, Zapdos being the first one on the list makes a lot of sense because he is just chilling in the power plant. Articuno is later on in like Seafoam Islands and that kind of stuff. And you need to be a bit further along the way. Further along the way, but you still technically only need Surf, and I think you need Strength in there, just because there are boulder puzzles in there where you need to change the water flow so you can get there in the first place, I think. But yeah, those are pretty early on, but Moltres is a bit special because I think he's chilling in postgame, unlike Zapdos and Articuno.
Well, technically Zapdos and Articuno are unlocked at the same time. Once you can surf, you can reach both the Seafoam Islands, where Articuno is, and the power plant, where...
Oh, I forgot if you maybe didn't even need Strength to change it? I don't know.
Zapdos is. Moltres is in the Victory Road, and you need 8 badges to get there.
Oh, he's in Victory Road. Oh. Maybe I'm thinking of, like, Gen 3, like, Pokemon, you know, Red, like, Fire Red, and not, like, Gen 1. I didn't know it was in Victory Road.
So that's definitely later. Using Surf outside battle requires defeating Koga, who in normal gameplay is the 5th gym leader, but you can technically skip Lieutenant Surge since all he unlocks is Fly, and Erica, since you don't have to beat her to get the Poke Flute to get past the Snorlaxes. However, her badge allows you to use Strength, which you need to get all the way down to Articuno within the Seafoam Islands. Because of this, I'm gonna technically count Articuno as a little bit later because it requires 4 badges, whereas Zapdos only requires 3. But if you play the game normally and don't skip gym badges, you'll get access to both at the same time. Next is Gold and Silver, where the earliest legendaries are the 3 beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. They can technically be obtained with as little as 3 badges, but it's not gonna be easy. In Gold and Silver, when the player enters the burned tower basement in Ecruteak City, done before fighting Morty, the 3 beasts will flee and begin roaming Johto. From that point on, they can be randomly encountered roaming throughout the region.
Yeah, they're like roaming legends after that, but I do believe they're very annoying to catch because I'm sure they know Roar or something. So, you know, you throw a ball, you fail, they roar you away. Well, guess what? Try again.
So it is technically possible to capture them before progressing past Ecruteak. However, they are roaming Pokemon, which means they flee at the first possible opportunity. Something I'm glad the games don't really do anymore because it's just kind of annoying. Since this would be before you get the Master Ball, you'd have to trap the beast by putting it to sleep or freezing it or using trapping moves like Mean Look. Also, this is Gen 2 before abilities, so you can't use Shadow Tag either. The mechanics get a little wonky with prepared moves with different priorities, but essentially, you aren't guaranteed to be able to do anything other than throw a Pokeball before it flees. So, to be perfectly honest, it won't be particularly fun, especially with your underleveled Pokemon, but it is technically possible to get a legendary Pokemon with only 3 badges.
Better lucky than good. Yeah. I wish I was better lucky than good in Kaizo.
Hello, it is I, Shmomipo, and I'm here to tell you, subscribe!
Crystal version is the same, except it's only Raikou and Entei, as Suicune is now obtained later as a static encounter at the Tin Tower. Next is Ruby and Sapphire, where the earliest
Oh, I didn't know Suicune became like a static encounter in that. That's neat to know, actually.
later as a static encounter at the Tin Tower. Next is Ruby and Sapphire, where the earliest legendary is Jirachi.
Yeah, okay. I do remember it from the Small End video. It was like Pokemon Sapphire, but I can't level up or I restart or some shit like that. Yeah, okay.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Not really. Also, side note, mythical Pokemon count as legendary for the purposes of this video, because I know they're technically a different category, but I think it'd be lame to have them totally separate. And also, I think it's lame that they're totally separate anyways. I think there should just be a subset of legendary Pokemon. But anyways, mythical Pokemon, they're getting discussed. This is the American
Yeah, it's a little guy on the box.
Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc, which you could only get by pre-ordering Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube back in like 2004. And does that say Pokemon Coliseum preview? Why do I need a preview? I have to own the game to get this disc. New movie sneak peek. If you hook up your Game Boy Advance to a GameCube with the bonus disc in it, you can send a Jirachi, 1 per save file, to Ruby or Sapphire with no progression restrictions, aside from having at least 1 Pokemon and an empty party slot. You can play through basically the entire game with Jirachi.
I wish I had a GameCube. Like growing up, this is my takeaway from this. I wish I had a GameCube. In fact, I wish I had a Game Boy SP too. I only had the what is it? The regular Game Boy Advance because my cousin gave it to me. Because his parents got him the SP, and I was like, damn, I need like a light attachment. And the Game Boy SP didn't, so I was like, oh my god, technology, that's crazy.
However, I actually don't think this Jirachi should count. It is not really a transfer since the Jirachi is generated within the Ruby and Sapphire, not in Coliseum, then traded over, and it's not a limited time event. I could stop recording and get Jirachi right now. I did get the Jirachi as part of a video I made a couple years ago. But the reason I don't think it should count is that it requires extra equipment for it to happen. And it's not cheap. The bonus discs are quite expensive. I don't know what the distribution service is, so ignore those. Just look for the discs themselves. And you need more than just the disc. You need a GameCube, a Game Boy Advance, and the connector wire. In 2024, I'm guessing few of you have those things. But also, like, it's only for English language Ruby and Sapphire. This is not a worldwide event. With all these limitations, I don't think Jirachi should really count. Not everyone can get it, realistically. There will be a few more situations like this as we progress through the video, where you can get something early, technically, but it requires extra equipment to do so. I'll cover those examples for the sake of interesting information, but my true answers will always be legendaries that you can get with just the game and nothing else. So with that out of the way, what is the true earliest legendary in Ruby and Sapphire? Well,
Is it Deoxys? I don't remember how you even get Deoxys. I'm just throwing a guess out there.
it's actually a little tricky to define. The options are the Reggie Trio or
Oh.
the box art legend for your game. But this is tricky because both are unlocked at the same section of the story because they both require Dive. Dive can be used once you beat Tate and Liza in Moss Deep City.
That's like pretty far along, like, the line, because that's like the 7th gym badge.
The 7th gym leaders.
Yeah.
Technically, Brawly is skippable, so you could do this with only 6 badges. For the Reggies, you have to dive down to the sealed chamber on Route 130.
I remember his video on this. I remember this. He was saying how annoying Relicanth was.
4 west of Pacifilog, do the crazy things the Braille tells you to,
The
then go
Braille!
to the various Reggie chambers and do the other strange tasks there. Groudon or Kyogre require you to battle through Team Magma or Aqua in the Seafloor Cavern, then make your way to Sootopolis to battle and catch the legend there within the Cave of Origin. So if their quests are unlocked at the same time, which legendary is earlier? Well, I'm saying the Regis. Since the seafloor cavern stuff is part of the mandatory story, that means getting to Groudon or Kyogre progresses further through that story. Meanwhile, you can get the Regis without progressing any mandatory story events, so they are the earliest legends. For Fire Red and Leaf Green, the answer is the same as their Gen 1 counterparts. Zapdos is the earliest, as it requires the fewest badges to get to. Moltres is a bit earlier than it used to be, in the Sevi Islands instead of the Victory Road.
Yeah, Sevi Islands. Yeah, I was remembering Fire Red, Leaf Green, then not the initial like Gen 1 like Fire Red, not Fire Red, regular ass Red. Yeah, Pokemon regular ass Red. I'm sure Pokemon Company loves me for that. Regular ass Red, but I was thinking of Fire Red.
But it's still later, so it doesn't really matter. For Emerald, it's the Regi trio yet again.
Okay.
Not only can the bonus disc not send Jirachi to Emerald, but you also cannot capture Rayquaza any sooner than Groudon or Kyogre in Ruby and Sapphire. And we already decided that the Regis were before that. In Diamond and Pearl, the answer is a little boring. It's the box art legend Dialga or Palkia. You capture them during the climactic battles atop Mount Coronet. The Lake Trio, Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit can be caught before the 8th badge, but they're still after Dialga or Palkia. Platinum version is the same, but with Giratina in the Distortion world. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the same as Crystal. Raikou and Entei start roaming before you have 4 badges, while Suicune is found later. In Black and White, the earliest legend is Cobalion. As soon as you gain the ability to surf from Alder at the entrance of Twist Mountain after your 6th badge, you can backtrack to Route 6, surf over to Mistralton Cave, strength your way through, and battle and catch the level 42 Cobalion. Fun fact, it's Cobalion specifically because you cannot access Virizion or Terrakion.
I'm getting very distracted with the music. I love this. I love Driftle.
Without first battling Cobalion. In Black 2 and White 2, the earliest legends were at one time the Therian forms of Thundurus, Tornadus, and Landorus, but they were external equipment ones, and it's only sort of possible today. You would obtain them in the 3DS game Pokemon Dream Radar, then send them to the mainline games immediately without any progression requirements. They even show up at level 5. But the 3DS Online is dead! If you downloaded Pokemon Dream Radar years ago, you could still get new Therian form Thundurus, Landorus, or Tornadus today. I'm pretty sure. I've never had...
You know, I wish I had more to say about this, but I'm very distracted by Driftville theme. I'm sorry, Mikey. Look, I got really distracted by the music. I was like, this one makes me happy. I like this music. This music make happy. And plus, I don't have extensive knowledge on Gen 5 as well. I attempted to hardcore Nuzlocke Gen 5 before, and I believe the furthest I got in both Black and White and Black and White 2. I want to say I got further in... Okay, well, I did eventually succeed a randomizer version, like hardcore Nuzlocke. Soul Link, actually, of Black and White. But I want to say the hardcore version of like just the vanilla game itself, I think the furthest I got was maybe 6 gym badges. I want to say 6 gym badges. And then I died. And I don't think I tried again after. I took a break, but it's been a very long break. I think like 2 years.
Dream Radar myself. But I'm guessing that most of you watching this did not do that. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I never got Dream Radar. So if you didn't already download the game, you cannot get it because the 3DS eShop and online are dead.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think you can still get them, but you got to do some serious modding stuff, and that disqualifies it just across the board. So, wanted to cover the Therian form legends, but it's a whole mess. The true earliest legendary in Black 2 and White 2 is once again Cobalion, but not in the same place. Instead of Mistralton Cave, you find Cobalion a tad later, but still after your 6th badge. Progressing north from Undella Town toward Lacunosa Town, you'll basically...
Oh, I forgot he has like a cute hopping animation. Wait.
Your 6th badge. Progressing north from Undella Town toward Lacunosa Town, you'll basically play chase with Cobalion. It'll eventually stop in a clearing at the north end of the route.
I remember this part. Oh my god, he hopped in front of me and I went whatever and I just fucking left him there. I don't think I talked to him. Because I was in the middle of like something during my Soul Link, and the same thing happened with Virizion. He was like in the middle of the road, but you can just walk right around him. I'm like, I'm doing something. I'll come back for you later. And Oh, he's still just chilling there. Oh, I remember. No offense, bro. I was just in the middle of something.
Route, and there you can fight and battle it, this time at level 45. X and Y have another boring answer. The earliest legends are the big ones, Xerneas and Yveltal. They're obtained at the climax of the Team Flare story, and all the other legends come after. Next is Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and unlike the other remakes so far, the answer is very different from their original versions. After you get your 5th badge and the ability to surf, heading east on Route 118 from Mauville City will trigger a cutscene with Steven. And then in the middle of it, one of the Latis shows up requesting your help. You fly on it to Southern Island and find Latios in Omega Ruby and Latias in Alpha Sapphire threatened by one of the evil teams. After you fight off the bad guys, the level 30 Lati joins your team as thanks.
Oh, I remember this. And then they have like a... Then you get like their Mega as well.
It's holding a Mega Stone, and then Steven gives
right
you
there.
the Mega Bracelet. From that point on, you can use Mega Latios or Latias on your team. These Pokemon, in their Mega forms, have base stat totals of 700.
Oh, that's disgusting. Sign me up.
That is greater than base form Groudon and Kyogre. And you don't even have 6 badges.
Yeah.
These games are crazy. In Sun and Moon, the earliest legendaries are once again those on the box art. At the altar on Pony Island, Nebby transforms into Solgaleo or Lunala, and after defeating creepy jellyfish Lusamine, you can battle and capture it. But in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, things are different. While Necrozma can be found and battled during the climb up Mount Lanakila right before the League, you can get a legendary sooner than that. You can get 2 or 3. You can actually get a ton. You have to use the Ultra Warp Ride to get to...
Maybe I should play Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. This looks fun.
3. You can actually get a ton. You have to use the...
Cause I think I definitely bought... I have both Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Ultra Sun. I bought Ultra Sun, but I also bought it at the same time I was having like... midterms. So, okay, so I it might still be in the plastic. But I bought the game with the intention to play it. I just had exams.
Ultra Warp Ride to get to Ultra Megalopolis to defeat Ultra Necrozma and progress the story, but you don't have to right away. You can fly through space as many times as you want and into all the colored wormholes, which means you can find legendaries that appear in them. How many legendaries? Well, if you exclude the ones that require you to trade a version exclusive over and have both in their party, like how you need Groudon and Kyogre in your party to find Rayquaza, but Groudon and Kyogre are found in different versions, you can get in one version of the game, before fighting Ultra Necrozma, 23 different legendaries.
I think that's a lot. Hot take, I know. Whoa, crazy, crazy. I think that's a lot.
These are all the legends that do not have any specific party requirements to spawn, so...
Let me move myself out of the way for this one. Give me a bit. Whoa. Yeah, I think that's a lot, guys. Huh. You know, maybe I'm a bit biased because I have like a pixel model and that kind of stuff. But damn, I love the pixel art. Whoa.
All of them tie for the earliest legend in Ultra Sun and
yeah,
Ultra
you tell
Moon.
them. Yeah.
By far, the highest number of legends obtainable before the Pokemon
Yeah, I
League
agree.
in any
I agree
game.
from down here.
Side note before we move on to the next game, Ultra Beasts are also obtainable at this point, but they don't actually count as legendary Pokemon. They were coded as sub-legendary for a while, like until Gen 9 actually, they're not anymore. But in the official messaging, they were never claimed as legendary Pokemon. So it's more of like a weird quirk of the coding than like actual lore that they were ever considered legendary, which I agree with. There's like, you can get an infinite number of them. I'm like, not really legendary.
Yeah,
I made a whole
true.
video about this years ago. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are much like Ruby and Sapphire. You can get a super early mythical Pokemon if you have the right external equipment. If you have the Pokeball Plus controller accessory thing, you can get Mew before your first badge.
This is my first time seeing this. No, I'm just like stunned. Give me a second. This is like genuinely my first time seeing this. I didn't know this was a real thing. Like, I have like the thing I have for like Pokemon Go is like a Pokemon Go like watch thing where you connect it to your phone, and then when there's a mon nearby, it lights up. Maybe it lights up a little bit. You can press the button and it'll throw a Pokeball for you. Or if you're next to a Pokestop, it'll light up blue, I think, and you can press it and it'll automatically spin the Pokestop for you. I have that back when I played Pokemon Go. I have never seen this before in my life.
Controller accessory thing, you can get Mew before your first badge. And in fact, I used Mew on my first playthrough team in Let's Go Pikachu. But this was actually evil. Like, the most anti-consumer BS Pokemon has ever done. I'm not exaggerating. A Pokeball Plus
I swear to God, it better not be $80.
was $50.
Okay, it's not $80, but that's still ridiculous.
And it dispensed one Mew. Not one per save file of the mainline game, like the Jirachi bonus disc. One Mew in total. It was $50 for one Pokemon. You want a second Mew? So like you and your partner or your sibling can play through your own files with Mew? Screw you, buy another $50 Pokeball Plus, which they're on eBay. You can find them on eBay for less than the $50 they originally went for, because guess what? The Mews aren't on those freaking Pokeball Pluses anymore.
Yeah.
It's not even a good accessory. It was a crap accessory. You're supposed to be able to like control the game with it and it would make noises and stuff. It sucked as a controller. You never knew which way to hold it. And like the Pokeballs went everywhere. I tried using it at first. I switched to the Joy-Cons immediately. Absolute crap, start to finish, anti-consumer garbage. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. That's like one of the more justified rants I feel like I've ever had in one of my videos. So not sorry, but the bottom line is Mew definitely doesn't count. And I actually think it would be almost impossible to get that Mew today. So the true earliest legendary, it's Zapdos again.
Yay!
But it's actually more of a tie with Articuno this time.
Oh, it's a
Since
tie.
you don't need any specific gym badges to use the secret technique HM replacements.
Oh yeah, they did replace all the HMs and that kind of stuff by then. I'm happy the HM stuff is gone. Like, I do like some of the HM moves, like specifically like Surf and Strength. Those are great moves. 100 accuracy, powerful, all that shit. It's great. I love those moves. I didn't like needing an HM Mon, like an HM designated Mon, to just traverse certain places in like the world. Some games are a lot more annoying with it than other games. I want to say Gen 4 was pretty bad with it. For like needing HMs and that kind of stuff. I think Gen 5 was kind of okay with it. Gen 3 wasn't as bad, but I feel like Gen 4 you kind of needed a bunch of HMs out like once. And I want to say that was for like a segment inside Mount Coronet, which happens later in the game after you need, what was it? Rock Climb. You might need like Rock Smash. I forget it was Rock Smash. Maybe Defog. I don't know. It was a bunch of shit you needed for sure.
That means they're both accessible at the same point with the same number of gym badges, while Moltres and Mewtwo are still later. Next is Sword and Shield, which could also receive the Mew from the Pokeball Plus, but obviously, screw that. The earliest legendary is once again at the climax of the villain's story, if you can even call Chairman Rose a villain, but it's not the box art legends. Instead, it's Eternatus, which you are actually forced to catch as part of stopping the Darkest Day. That is, if you don't have the DLC. DLC's kind of fuzzy because I'm saying, like external equipment doesn't really count. Does the DLC count as external equipment? Because it is an additional purchase beyond the base game, but it is a direct modification to the game, not a separate device. So I'm not really sure whether it should count. So for the games with DLC, I'm gonna give you the answer if you don't have the DLC and the answer if you do. If you do have the DLC, then the earliest legendary is actually Kubfu from
I'm be real, I forgot he was a legendary. I just thought he was just, I don't know, a regular guy.
the Isle of Armor. All you have to do is clear Mustard's 3 trials, culminating in a battle against Clara or Avery, whose team is only in the 20s if you haven't fought Eternatus yet, meaning it is winnable early in the game. Afterwards, Mustard gifts you Cubfu, which is a legendary Pokemon.
Huh.
It's obviously not a very good one, but you can realistically get it evolved with the Tower Quest at some point when it's in the 30s, so you can fully beat Sword and Shield with an Urshifu. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are other games that offer—
Yeah, I didn't know that was classified as a legendary. I just thought he was like a fun guy that came with the DLC. Damn, I didn't know that.
really early gift mythicals. But these ones are actually a lot more reasonable than the previously covered ones. If you have save data for Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee on your Switch, you can get a level 1 Mew in Floraroma Town before the second badge. In the same place, the person standing right next to him, you can get Jirachi if you have save data for Sword and Shield, this one coming at level 5. As I said, I feel these are far more reasonable because the external equipment are complete other games, so like, you're getting your money's worth, unlike the Pokeball Plus, but other games are still technically external equipment. It's not just the original game that you bought, so they don't count, but they're very doable. The true earliest legendaries are the same as they were in the original Diamond and Pearl. Dialga in Diamond and Palkia in Pearl at the summit of Mount Coronet. For Pokemon Legends Arceus, the earliest legendary is in fact not the Dialga or Palkia you catch as part of the main story, because you can get Fion or Manaphy first. As a reminder, mythicals count as legendaries for the purposes of this video, because again, I don't think they should be a separate category. The Sea's Legend request is unlocked as soon as you reach the Coronet Highlands for the first time, the fourth of the 5 areas. If you follow the steps of the quest, including putting a Mantike, Weasel, and Overquill in your party, you can encounter 3 level 35 Fion and 1 level 50 Manaphy inside the Seaside Hollow in the Cobalt Coastlands. Finally, Scarlet and Violet. While Koraidon or Miraidon join you basically immediately, they don't count since they can't battle yet. The true earliest legendary is kind of complicated. If you don't have the DLC, the earliest legends are the Treasures of Ruin. The only prerequisite to them is obtaining their—
Is that DLC, right?
DLC, the
Hold up.
earliest legendary is kind of complicated. If you don't have
You
the
don't have it,
DLC,
okay.
the earliest legends are the Treasures of Ruin.
Maybe I need to pay more attention to my Scarlet and Violet playthrough. I don't remember these guys. Sorry to these guys, but I recognize the one in the top, like, right? And I've definitely seen top left. I could not tell you a single thing about the ones at the bottom.
The only prerequisite to them is obtaining their stakes, but many of them are in high up or remote places, requiring your Koraidon or Miraidon to be able to swim, high jump, glide, climb, or all 4. However, this means if you hyper-focus on just the Titan Pokemon—
That's probably what I did, because I recognize the Titan Pokemon and getting all this.
you could technically catch all 4 Treasures of Ruin without a single gym badge. However, I don't recommend that. The way obedience works in Scarlet and Violet means you need 8 badges for Pokemon caught above level 55 to obey you, and the Treasures of Ruin are level 60. So you could speedrun to get them, but they will not be helpful.
Did I not do the treasures at all? God damn.
But even if you waited until you had all 8 badges, that is still before Koraidon or Miraidon, so the Treasures of Ruin, still the earliest legendaries if you don't have the DLC. If you do have the DLC, the earliest legendary is Ogerpon. Like in the Isle of Armor, the Teal Mask plotline is not locked to the post-game, and the final Kirin battle within it has his team in the 30s. If you defeat him in the 4-stage Ogerpon battle, you obtain Ogerpon at level 20. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you did, you probably enjoy my content, so you could either 1, subscribe if you haven't already, or 2, double check that you're subscribed, because you may think you are, but you're not. I'd really appreciate it if you did, but that is all I have for now. So until next time, big fans, gotta catch them all.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. Yeah, no, the last ones I was kind of not completely, but mostly lost, because it made me realize that, I might have only done the gym battles, and I definitely have done getting the special herbs for the dude's dog and that kind of stuff. I don't think I've done the treasure ones. I should find my game. Well, see you guys next time. Bye. Bye!